Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Burgum, thank you for being here today, for your work, all the great work you're doing to unleash America's energy. Additionally, the broader work that the Trump administration is doing to improve efficiency, to cut red tape, to increase transparency in the federal government. I appreciate all of that. The Biden administration did not make revenues from wind and solar energy on federal lands publicly available, even as revenue data from other sources like oil, gas, coal, and geothermal were readily accessible. Would you support making sure that these intermittent energy revenues are made publicly available on DOI's Natural Resource Revenue Data website going forward?
Yes, would be happy to do that.
Great.
But there was also, under the Biden administration, discounts as much as 80% reductions on leases, preferential leases. So there was another form of subsidy for wind and solar was that the United States actually forego revenue on the one hand on the leases because they were asked to reduce them by 80% at the same time we were subsidizing them over here. So more dollars into the high cost of renewables.
Yeah, and we talked about that in this committee. I'm glad to see that you're moving on that. A lease should be a lease, and we appreciate that, and we can get more revenue out of some of those as well. I absolutely agree with the statement that you made, map, baby, map, in support of mapping our resources. And the previous administration focused strongly on the 3-DEP program to almost completely map the topography and hydrology of the U.S., which I support. However, the Earth MRI program at USGS is severely behind. How's the department accelerating USGS mapping programs like Earth MRI to ensure that these initiatives support domestic mineral production?
Well, this is one of the areas that we want to accelerate and invest in is because that's the core mission of USGS is to understand that, make that data publicly available. And as we've talked about in this hearing about the need for us to understand where and how much we have in our nation in terms of critical and rare earth minerals. I met with the MRI folks, got a briefing on that when I was in Alaska. That's one of the places where we're doing the work. But again, our ability to do things like ground penetrating radar that help us understand. We're discovering new things that even in existing areas that we didn't know were there because of new technology. And our nation is probably even wealthier than we may have thought, but we got to get that information out to the private sector.
Well, and you and President Trump have been very clear through executive and secretarial orders about your intent to improve domestic mineral supply chains, to decouple our reliance on China and our other geopolitical adversaries from our economic and national security priorities. I'm a member of the House Armed Services Committee. That's very important to me. What are some of the efforts the Interior is undertaking to improve the efficiency and timeliness of the permitting process for responsible resource development projects that are on federal lands?
Well, we're taking a look at every aspect of it in terms of, how do we maintain or improve the quality but dramatically shorten the timelines on things like EAs and EISs. We also have got a transparency website for permitting that we're going to be posting shortly, where people will be able to go, and if they're interested in a project in your district or whatever, you could say, hey, here's the permit, here's how long it's taking, here's what office it's stuck in, here's the approval it needs. Even whenever there's been transparency applied to these processes, somehow miraculously they speed up. So it is I think again, some sunshine on the permitting process will help us speed that. But in terms of the work that's happening at the National Energy Dominance Council, we have the whole periodic table up on the wall, and we can map it, tell you exactly which one of those China controls 100%, 95%, 80%, and we just have to build a national plan to say we're going to not allow that to happen. We've got to be in the game of not exporting it. And by the way, if people are concerned about mining and the quality on the environment, if you export it to China, China is doing this extraction sometimes with child labor, sometimes destroying entire environments in foreign countries. I mean, if you want rare earth minerals, secure supply, but you also, if you get it from the U.S., it's going to be done cleaner, safer, smarter, more environmentally responsible than any place else in the world. Right now, this idea that we close our eyes, say that we're doing something green, and then ship all of that off to China, as the chairman submitted those articles, we're just putting our supply not only to an adversary, but to the world's largest polluter, providing us with, quote, these green products.
Thank you. And see how this works? I ask questions and I let you answer. It can work just that way, Mr. Secretary.
Very kind of you.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate the questions.